welcome back to Whiskey Uncut. I'm sorry, James.
Take two.
Take two.
Yeah.
Tyler's gone. I forgot to hit record.
We had like a full 20-minute conversation about Blanton's and starting this thing and my beard and all sorts of fun stuff, and it does not exist.
Yeah. It exists in our hearts and our minds, our memories.
And in my frustration. It's definitely there too. It's rare that I get off to some good points early on in a podcast. I had good points today.
Oh, man.
And they're gone.
I'm sorry. So this week's episode, we wanted to talk about whiskeys that we love and hate. And so you asked me pick out two whiskeys that you think one I'll love, one I'll hate. And you did the same. Our final bottle to wrap up, the one you think I'll like.
I decided to challenge myself a little bit. It would have been easier for me to try to pick a rye that you wouldn't like, because you generally don't love rye anyway. And I have a couple.
But it's grown on me.
Yeah, but I have a couple that just like straight up Will Smith smack you in the face with rye.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I don't know if I really, like, that's too easy.
I'd have to ban you from the podcast for 10 years.
You would have to for 10 years and take back all my words, which are none.
Did they take back his awards too?
No,
I don't think so.
They're saying that he should maybe give it back.
Oh, well, no, he won it.
Who cares anyway? It was a really funny moment of the broadcast,
but I would care too. Like, that's so when they took back Lance Armstrong's wins, right? I think that's justified in the sense that like he cheated, but they should just stop caring.
But it takes away the whole point of the sport. Like,
no, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
If everybody dopes, then the field is level.
But the whole point, and I get that, but the whole point of sports is to figure out, like, in my opinion, to figure out what the human body can do.
At this point, it's more unfair to disqualify people for cheating with drugs because it's just a bad luck of the draw of them getting caught.
Do you know what people would look like, though, if you just opened up drugs to all sports? Like, it would be ridiculous. Like, it would be crazy.
But they're all doing it anyway.
See, but they're not. Like, not all of them are. Now, in some realms, I agree. But in a lot of them, they're not. Like, for instance, baseball and pitching, let's say. It's not nearly as helpful to be on, like, tee as it is, like, if you're a hitter and you're on tee. Now, if you're on HGH and you're a pitcher and you can recover quicker, that's a slightly different ballgame. But I don't want to watch sports where everybody is 260 pounds and can run the 40-yard dash in 4.2 and murder people. Like, I don't want to see MMA dudes on like roid rage in the middle of a fight. Like, check me out of wherever it is that you're going with this.
Okay. Last whiskey.
So like I said, I was going to challenge myself on this, and I decided it would have been easy for me to pick a rye that you didn't like. So I wanted to try to pick a rye that you liked. So this is the new Riff Balboa Rye, which is one of their special releases.
Smells amazing.
It smells like, that's the first thing that hit me. It's 100 proof. It's aged at least 4 years. And Balboa Rye, it says on the back, is a rare heirloom grain dating back to the 1940s and often used for whiskey in those days. It's grown exclusively for distillation at New Riff by Fogg Family Farm in Indiana. And I think this is a cool trend that I see in a lot of craft whiskey, is bringing back some of these heirloom varieties of grains that just give entirely different flavor profiles to the whiskey. And as soon as I tried this, you and I have had quite a bit of New Riff Rye. You mentioned in one podcast that it keeps disappearing from your place because I keep taking it. I love it. This is an entirely different flavor profile on the nose, on the palate, than anything you've had from New Riff. But I just think it's a stunningly beautiful rye and with a very different flavor profile that I thought you would like.
Yeah, so right away, the aroma to me on this whiskey is soft. Like, if you didn't tell me that this was rye whiskey, I don't think in 100 years I would have guessed that it was a rye whiskey.
And it's 95%. It's 95% Balboa Rye, 5% malted barley. And that 5% is just there for enzymes.
Yeah, because the way this smells to me is I would almost say like the most similar thing I could think of is like Corsair had a quinoa whiskey.
With the earthy quality.
Right. Now, that straight up smelled like quinoa.
It did.
And it was weird. And I don't know why anyone wants to drink quinoa. But in terms of like character, this smells soft to me. This smells like it's so good. It smells rustic and gentle, but like it's just like this really even kind of. I'm struggling to describe it because I haven't really smelled anything like this.
Yeah, it's hard. There's a little bit of mintiness in there that I think would maybe give it away, combined with a grassy note. Mm-hmm. But it's sweet, it's bright, and to me, it's florally. It's much more floral than you get out of a standard rye.
Yeah, but I feel like there's even like a dark kind of fruitiness to it that it's just subtle. I mean, this just smells incredible. It smells so good.
Yeah, there's like a stewed fruit thing in there.
That tastes great.
Yeah. I was super, super excited. This is a $60 bottle. So,
that's it?
Yeah, it's a special release. It's $60.
They could have put that at $100.
Yeah, and I think people would buy it. Now, given it's a 4-year rye and it's 100
Did you buy
proof,
2 of these?
So actually, my friend Chad picked it up when he was in Ohio at a liquor store. He sent me a picture of it and he was like, "Is this good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, buy it." So he brought back a bottle for him and a bottle for me. Mm. And I think he's already drank his. And so we've moved on to mine. But this is one that when he's over and we're talking about whiskey or we're talking about business stuff or whatever, a lot of times we pull this out and drink it just because it's so good. And for us, I think it sort of sets the tone.
One second.
Oh, we have some dog issues in the background.
One eternity later.
I think this is, as this sits here too, try it now because you went away for a little bit. We'll cut that part out.
We will.
But you went away for a while. Now try it again and you get just a ton more baking spice. So you get some nutmeg, some clove.
Oh, yeah.
There's a little bit of cinnamon in there. It changes while it's in your glass, which I really appreciate. Every time I try it, I get a little bit something different.
I really want a bottle of this.
Yeah, it's good. And I think they've
assuming
only had
it's
2
not
releases.
available. But so they did do a second release, so they might do a third.
I think so. I was having a hard time finding information on it. So when I was looking online, I knew there was a release around 2019 or something. I couldn't figure out if this was that release or not. There's no batch information on it. So I was having a hard time figuring it out. We're going back to Ohio at the end of April, though. So I plan on going back to the same store that had it and seeing if I can find a bottle.
Is going back to Ohio at the end of April.
Always.
It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio and Wisconsin. You know, James, the world is wider than Ohio.
I'm picking barrels in Ohio. That's why I'm going. I'm doing business.
Yeah. I will say, though, black text on a black label, not the best idea.
So it's funny because that's, the Eve's Blind one I was talking about that I'm bringing back. They did that as well. This is kind of a new thing. It's this shiny black on a matte black.
Yeah.
It's hard to read. When I first saw this, I was like, what the hell is that? But they put the Balboa at least really nice in the bronze, which I think bronze is a cool color on a black label. And I love their bottles, how it's kind of, opaque at the top all the way down to transparent.
This is a fantastic pour, though.
It's a really good rye.
One of my favorite whiskeys I've had in a while.
Yeah, I love it. So if you're out there and you see this anywhere, absolutely buy it. If you don't like it, send it to us. We'll happily drink it. Mm-hmm. It's unique, but at the same time, I think it's inherently new Riff. It tastes like it has that new Riff profile to it. Everything they do is rye forward. It's a bold whiskey, and I just think it's a stunning example of what you can do with an heirloom product. All
right. Thank you guys for listening and watching. This has been Whiskey Uncut. I've been Paul.
I got one more, so fuck. That was my second. Yeah.
Remember, guys, drink, share, enjoy.